slow and tedious process. Hello ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Rudy here with your yard service, and we are here on location in Spruce Grove. It's a beautiful day in February. It is actually above freezing, but as you can see, still snow on the ground, and that's not going to go away anytime soon, although we do have quite a warm spell here. Anyways, and speaking of warm spell, that's creating the reason why we are here on location. And we have here, as you can see, lighting here, Rudy lighting. So all those, the complete neighborhood basically got a notice from the city to basically get the act together and clean up the treacherous icy conditions on the sidewalks. So as you can see here, this is bare pavement and this is all ice, which is basically created by the snow melting here, basically flowing off to the city sidewalk. And then here we have downspouts there, downspouts coming off the roof on both sides, like our client here and then the neighbor there, downspout there. So all that stuff flows into that gully here, or however you want to call it there, and basically down under the snow it flows onto the city sidewalk. And then it wants to go further down the road here, right? But we had a blockage of the storm drain over there. Now it's kind of like it got opened up here a little bit so it can flow here into the storm drain there. And we are lucky to have a storm drain right on our property here, or the client's property, should I say. But also another issue is what we have. You can see all this pooling water here on the city sidewalk. This is all dry, and here you can see pooling water, and this is caused by not necessarily by this hump of snow sitting there, but mostly because of this part of city sidewalk is teeny tiny lower than this curb part going onto the street. Hence, so you see, like all this water pooling here, it's not really flowing over onto the right side there, and that's because with all this crazy frost and freeze and thaw going on with extreme temperatures here in Alberta, that's creating the ground to heave and to sink throughout this freeze and thaw cycle, and causing melting snow and water to pool on areas where it shouldn't be pooling. So overnight it's gonna freeze up, and then on the next day, if it doesn't really get warm, like today is nice and warm, but not as warm as yesterday. But anyway, so if let's say like it did melt on the previous day, but the following day is not, or even throughout the night, once it dips below freezing, all this pooling water is going to ice up again. So no matter what you do, you have to check it basically every single day, and that's called ice monitoring. So that's what we're basically doing right here, because the homeowner has gotten a notification, as all the other ones has. So we are basically monitoring the situation, and today we are actually we started yesterday here, chopping away this portion here, and we can see there's a break. That's where the neighboring property line is basically. So the neighbor has to do a little bit of, or a lot of chipping away too. And why you see all this, okay, Rudy, stop talking. Anyways, this is essential to make the ice chopping a little bit easier. What we did is a secret. No, it's not really a secret. It's a trade secret. Anyways, you gotta lift, if you have that massive of an ice shield, you gotta lift the bond between ice and surface, like concrete, in order to basically have success shipping it away and getting down to surface. So what you do is just hammer it or pound it with, load it up with ice melt. And in this case we have like, let's say like 3 inches of solid ice. All the ice melt you put on top, by the way, it gets to the bottom, is basically diluted and is not effective anymore, right? So you just need to hammer it down, hammer it down. This is actually like our second day working on it, because the previous day where we put down ice melt wasn't enough. So we had to come back today, kind of like work on it again. So that's what we're going to do right now. And this is where the talking stops. Now you're going to see some action. Never end. So before we get to the big stuff, we're gonna clean up all this surface ice, like all the thin stuff, because as we shovel it off, all this, all the chunky mess, I don't want to fall on all the little areas. So that's what I want to clean up right here. There. So we don't fall. Oh yeah. Okay. Okay, that's a floor scraper, guys. A floor scraper. It's not a chipper, it's a scraper. And that, guys, that's a chipper. It's way thicker, like the blade is way thicker. So it can be, that takes a real beating. The other one is more like for delicate scraping. See that? Oh yeah. Small increments. Okay, I'm gonna show you quickly how thick of an ice layer we are dealing with. So bear with me. I have my cool measuring stick in inches. That's how we roll. Oh my goodness, like a solid 5, maybe even more. You see that? There, 5 inches. Holy cow! Yeah, about 4 to 5 inches for sure. Slow and tedious process. process. Slow and tedious. I'm gonna move you there. I'm gonna move you there. Oh yeah. Oh. Okay guys, let me clean up this mess here. The ice is, the chopped off ice is getting in the way. So I'm gonna take the shovel and shovel it off. Okay, I'm gonna move you now. We're gonna do the little or more the detailing stuff. So the big stuff over there is done, pretty much. So we clean it off all nice, nice clean edge. That's the neighbor's problem there. So now we're gonna clean up all this stuff there along the curb. And then we're going to focus on creating or opening up the flow to the storm drain again, because it's kind of like slushed up and kind of like a little bit frozen from overnight. Alright, you beautiful people, going to move you around a little bit. So only thing that's needing to be done is I'm going to work on, not sure if this makes too big of an impact or difference. Going to clean up this curve here of curve of ice. Going to try to go straight down here from this driveway and then cutting across along the curb. This is road, this is still driveway, so I'm going to clean up the curb here, because as it drops it will create a flow or drain for the melting water, and that's the way into the storm drain over there. And I'm going to also clean up this little meandering flow towards the curb, because it tends like to ice up overnight because it's very narrow and still covered with ice alongside, so it kind of freezes up overnight. So just kind of trying to keep it open. And then final one will be, well, like second final, trying to give you a little bit of power paddle action on the water here. Not gonna make much of a difference because water melts off and then pulls it again. And then pretty much the final thing I'm going to take you along is all this, call it buckshots. I will call it buckshot, like this small little gravel, giving you traction when it's super icy and doesn't make sense to get rid of the ice. Sometimes it just doesn't make sense. So we're gonna clean that up before we leave you alone for the day. So that's what's gonna happen right now. Maybe the end of it. Think that's about it. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. So now I'm gonna take you along for the curb. And away we work. Now I'm gonna work on this guy here. And this guy there. Opening up that flow again so it can, that's the storm drain there. So I'm gonna try to get this a little bit wider and deeper. I think it's a little bit pointless. It's too thick, and you got to do some ice melt application in order to lift the bonds to the pavement. So I'm gonna, cause it's pretty exposed to the sun though, so that's what I'm gonna let happen. Let the sun do its course. That's what the sun is good for, melting stuff. Yeah. Alright, you guys, I call this a wrap on the ice management follow-up visit for this property here. So we have the ice all cleaned up. Now we're just gonna clean up the gravel or buckshot and deal with this pond over there on the city sidewalk. And that's about it. If you have any questions, leave us a comment, hit like and subscribe if that's what you fancy. Over and out, Rudy here with your realtors, and see you when the next snow falls.